Welcome to the Freaky Nanner Show.
Freaky Nana show. Freaky Nana show. So we're going to talk about Squid Games.
Yeah, maybe talk about it's hitting the world hard. That's all I hear about everywhere.
No, South Korea. Very popular.
South Korea.
Oh. It's a like a saw, but it's also like it's a like saw, but it's also like something else.
I don't know what else. It's a little different.
Oh, it's kind of like that game that they play where they go through the gauntlet, and it's pretty much impossible for anybody to win, but sometimes people win.
Running Man.
Yeah, it's kind of like that mixed with Saw.
Yeah, a little bit like that.
I don't know. I liked the concept of it. I liked a lot. I liked all of the contests that they did, like the rounds. I thought it was pretty interesting up until the end of the last episode, which you said you didn't finish it.
Yeah, I didn't finish every little bit of it. I can't remember how far I got, but I keep falling asleep because I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get a lot of sleep.
Do you want me to spoil it for you?
No, I'll watch it, but
all right.
Basically, what I thought was, it was good, but I always think the same thing about almost every movie is that character development is very important, and certain characters don't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like the stupid old lady that sleeps with the guy.
Yeah.
And then she wants to be on his team, and then after that, then he doesn't want to have nothing to do with her all of a sudden. I think it wouldn't go down that way exactly, especially with the guy.
Yeah. There was like no reason, because like he had already gotten what he wanted from her. She helped him with the last Squid Game, so there was no reason for him to trick her into thinking that he was gonna keep her on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Like after he gave her the little spring roll, if that's what he wanted to do is get a little poontang, right after that he could have just been like, I'm not letting you on my team. I could
have taken her head right then and be like,
yeah.
And I kind of like the part where they, purposely let them kill each other.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think it would have been way crazier than that if that was the case.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of, they would have killed a lot more people, and they would have been seeking out particular people instead of just randomly killing everybody. And also, the thing that bothered me the most about the whole show, honestly, that I've seen so far, was on the first episode when they play the first game. And it seems like at the beginning there's 7 people that are running. Everybody else runs backwards and dies. And then when it's over, there's still 150-something people left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was wondering that
no
too.
way. Huh.
I was thinking something like that too. I was like, oh, I thought way more people were getting shot.
Oh. Speaking of that, sponsor of the day, made with pride in Kentucky, as bourbon is. Let's get a shot of this, if you can. Daviess County.
Daviess County.
And what? Heritage from 1874, limited edition.
Oh, limited edition.
Limited. See that little label right there.
Look at that little label right there. Right there.
Very good.
Boy, I tell you what, that'll get you drunk.
Mm-hmm. Should try a little sample.
I'm gonna get a little taste.
Very good.
I'm gonna get a little. It's important to get a little smell first. And then you go going on it. Ooh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And it's finished in French oak casks.
French oak casks.
Lux Row Distillers.
That's going to make my man boobs fill with delicious milk.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I'm walking and I see a hobo sleeping on the side of the road and he's cold, I go, come here, come get some nourishment. And it's got the whiskey spliced in with my milk. And he'll go, and it'll give him strength to beg another day. My man boob nectar.
And I like to make my own squid games. Just bring people, just go to the store and offer people money to do stuff and then just slap the shit out of them. You're like, if you can do this, I'll give you $500. They're like, oh yeah, wow. And they'll be all into it, and then when they get close to the end, you just smack them. And they're like, no, you didn't do it.
You don't right.
You screwed it up. You're not very good at these squid games, are you? Go home, beat your children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe back in the day, maybe not now so much it would work, but on Black Friday, it'd be fun to like do a Squid Game thing on Black Friday. Mm-hmm. Like be like, whoever knocks out someone with brown hair and glasses gets theirs, and everybody's like looking for someone with brown hair and glasses. Like, ah, I got him. You gotta knock him out.
That's the disappointing part. I used to not purposely go to any sales on Black Friday because it was so crazy, and I knew it was pointless. I tried a few times to go to places and get something, like I'd pick something down the list that I wanted instead of the best thing, and then I'd try to get there, and that still wouldn't work. You'd stand in line for like 3 hours, and then, no, we're done. We're out of them. And then now they've gotten soft over time, and now they change it to where you guarantee to get stuff. You just got to get a ticket. I get it late or something, and they have zones set up so you can go to these certain zones, and they got so many, whatever.
Want to stand like in the opening of the Walmart bathroom, like you know how it's just open, there's no doors. Mm-hmm. Just stand in that middle part where it says men and women pointing. Stand there with the trench coat on, stand there like this, and then when people walk by, go, hey fella, hey, I heard you looking for a TV. I got tickets. They're like, oh, you do? Yeah, I got the tickets you need. Come over here. You're looking for that 72-inch? I got the ticket right here. But it's not free. You gotta go in here. There's a guy in a stall taking a dump. I need you to go tackle him. I want you to take his face, shove it in his poo-poos, and then I need you to show it to me. Oh, yeah. He's like, oh, oh, oh. And so there you go.
The guy with the tickets in there. Then you gotta go in there, and you gotta knock the door down. And then you gotta point at him and say, that shit stinks. You sick fuck. And then he's gonna hand you the little ticket. He's waiting for you.
Go in there, get the poo-poos.
Yeah, you gotta get... It's in the poo-poos. He's in there. He's been in there for 3 days.
Hide it in the poo-poos.
You gotta get it out of there.
You gotta hide it in the poo-poos. Hide it in the poo-poos.
Tired of it. Tired of you. Tired of him having all the poo-poos. I've been out here for 3 days waiting to go poo-poos. And he's got all the poo-poos and he's got all those tickets. Yeah, I just go here in the Walmart 6 months after Black Friday. I still got the tickets. I still got him.
Hey, mister, I'm disabled. I can't reach my back. Could you wash my back in here? Come over here in the stall. I'll give you $15 if you wash my back in this stall. I'm disabled.
I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go, and you just wait, and I'll go, oh. When you hear me go, oh, I'm all done. And you can just reach down, you can wash my back for me.
It's the dirtiest in the nape of my crack. Right there, get it?
Then once you're done, the money's right here in the front. You just keep reaching in there until you find it.
Yeah.
The money gets bigger the harder you reach for it.
See how much money's growing in there? The more you rub, the more money grows in there. Just reach on in that pocket right there. I have a disability.
Lots of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't get home till I get my back wiped. My wife won't have me.
A shiny forehead.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we have
a little bit of sweatiness. I just cleaned.
I just thought of when you told me that people can't hurt our feelings because YouTube won't let them.
Yeah. YouTube doesn't like anything anymore. So it's rough. But what I'm going to do when I get the chance is pull the audio from all of these episodes, and I'm just going to download the audio on everything. And then, well, maybe get some more hits. And it seems like with some of the other companies, you don't need as many subscribers or anything. You can get like 50 listeners and get monetized for it, maybe. We'll see.
I just want people to
enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, I just miss when people could make fun of other people and nobody would cry or try to get somebody in trouble or just make it go away. I just want everybody to be able to make each other laugh again, and laughing at each other, and the best way is by trying to hurt each other's feelings.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, I don't know when it changed. Maybe we'll say 1995. Just make that the date, probably.
Mm-hmm.
A year after Tupac died. Or did he die in 96?
96.
96.
I had a poster that said, R.I.P. Tupac.
94 was Kurt Cobain.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, so it's somewhere around that time. That's when things started to change. And actually, I go back, I was a big rap fan in the 90s. And now I'm not. But what happened is 1999 hit, and there was a rapper named Juvenile. And he had the CD, and I liked it. But in his most famous song at the end was this rapper named, what's his name? Lil Wayne. My brain's not letting me remember at the moment, but he's at the very end of the song, and he's got this stupid little line at the end of it. And then ever since that point, Lil Wayne got famous, and he changed the style of rap completely to the fast, goofy, and mumbly type stuff.
Mm-hmm. Where he goes,
and you're like, and that changed rap forever. And ever since then, rap hasn't been even close to the same. This rap back then in the mid-90s was amazing.
Back then it was about grown problems.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't know about no grown problems till you listened to rap. They talked about grown stuff. Now it's just about stupid stuff.
And now even they make up words just to have it rhyme that nobody's ever heard of before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's a Drake song. I can't stand Drake. everybody thinks he's like the greatest in the world. He's got like 50 billion views on all his videos. Like how and why? I don't know. But I think, yeah, pretty sure it's a Drake song, but people used to listen to it at a job I had. And like instead of rhyming the words, it just comes up with a line of lyrics. And at the end, he says, yes, or yeah, or yeah. Or, I think it's yeah. I think he's like, yeah. Blah, 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 yeah. Blah, 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 yeah. Like you can't rhyme the same word with the same word and it not be an actual word.
I don't know who was famous first, Drake or Taylor Swift, but I feel like one got the idea of the way they sang from the other because both of them are like singing about like being did wrong by like some guy or some girl. Like Drake's always like, "You never call me, but you take hanging out with your friends. You're embarrassed of me, blah blah blah." And Taylor Swift's always like, "You said you loved me, but now you're just playing me." Blah 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 blah. I don't know, but they're both like, "Yeah, let's be the scorned one. Let's sing about being scorned."
Maybe they're meant to be together at the end.
Maybe.
Just like Taylor Swift. I think that was pretty disgusting to me anyways. Just feel like she was trying to revive Nickelback's career on her own by sleeping with the guy from Nickelback, Chad.
Oh, I didn't even know she did that.
Oh, yeah. They were together for a couple years, I think.
Oh.
And she was really young.
She's been with everybody.
He's like almost 50 years old.
She was with like...
She was like 20.
She's been with like Tom Hiddleston, John Mayer.
She just gets it down.
That guy.
That's why I don't like her.
She's like, that guy looks like he's going to do me wrong. I could write a song about that. I'm going to get with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's song fuel.
Like, I feel like her music, even though it seems like it's like a teeny bop type thing, but it's not. I think it's too adult for how old she was when she was young.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's always about naughty things, even though she pretends like she's not naughty.
Mm-hmm.
But she's going around banging 50 people.
It's not right.
And I keep telling her, my old lady thinks she's great. And I'm like, no. Did you ever listen to her songs? Like, this shit's about banging dudes and being pissed off.
It's about being a one-night stand and getting left alone in the dirt.
That's what she's about.
Betty White. Betty White.
And at least you get Miley Cyrus. She doesn't hide it.
I like her not as much as an artist, but I just like her personality because she's just up front, you know.
Well, I think she's gotten better actually. She's got some pretty good newer stuff where she does like a rockish style.
I don't know if I've heard her newer music.
Covers some rock songs and things. It's not bad. And her voice changed. She had something wrong with her throat or something. She had surgery on it, and now she sounds completely different, like real raspy now when she talks.
I'll have to listen and see. I know I was kind of annoyed when she was in that phase where she was always like...
Oh, yeah. She still does that stuff, though. And it does annoy me.
I don't like that.
Like, nobody cares. Same thing, like a porno movie when they're just having sex with her in the first 5 minutes and they're just laying there going... Like, why do you got your tongue out? You're not getting anything for a while. I just look stupid. If I was sleeping with somebody and their tongue was hanging out, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'd be like, do you want something in your mouth or do you want something down there? Take your choice. It just looks stupid. Tongue out. It doesn't do anything for anybody. That's Michael Jordan's the only one that can do that. Or Gene Simmons.
It's just science. It's a scientific fact.
And if Miley had like a super long tongue, it'd be different. Like it'd be funny if her tongue like went way down here and just and you're like, holy shit, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Skrulnik. What does that mean? I don't know, but that's fucked up.
Did you know that Miley Cyrus's godmother, Dolly Parton?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Come here, child. Come rest your head in my bosoms. Come over here.
Dolly Parton's what? Fucking 94.
Tell Dolly Parton all about it. Come over here. Tell Dolly Parton all about it. Put your head on my bosoms and tell me.
I think that honestly, in a non-perverted way even, if Dolly Parton was my godmother and I was really upset, I feel like it would comfort me if she was like, come over here. And I just put my head on her chest. And she's like, oh, honey.
Like, come over here, sunshine.
Yeah, come here. Tell old Parton all about it. Tell old Dolly Parton.
She's got to hold her head out here.
Yeah, and I'm like, it would comfort me. It'd bring me solace.
Mm-hmm. She could just actually separate her fake boobs and put her head in there and just close it.
Yeah.
She wouldn't hear anything. She'd just be able to sleep quietly like a soundproof chamber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, darling.
Go on over here. Come feel yourself safe. Get yourself all safe like.
I don't miss it. Back in the day, there was my stepsister when I was younger. Every time I'd go to her grandma's house, my dad would go there, his wife, to get drunk. And there'd be like 19 people at the table in the living room, and they'd all be smoking. And there was like thick smoke throughout the kitchen. They'd just be in there drinking and drinking. And we'd be there for hours and hours, and there was no food, and there was nothing to drink except for alcohol. And then there was no good movies. She just had an old VHS player. And then he was into westerns, so almost 99.9% of the movie was like some shitty-ass westerns from the 1950s. And then she had like a couple other movies that was her grandma's. And 2 of them were Dolly Parton movies. So every time we went there, my stepsister would watch the 2 Dolly Parton movies over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So 9 to 5 in the best little whorehouse in Texas. Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds.
I guess I'm sick of those.
Yeah. It's not fun to go to old people's houses.
Mm-mm. Like old people now are a little bit different, but old people when I was young were old people.
See, I feel like the only difference between old people now and old people back then was that back then
they didn't complain as much.
Well, yeah, that I guess, but back then, like, technology wasn't so.
Yeah, they didn't know anything about technology.
Yeah, and now it's more easy for them to like grasp it a little bit. So, like, even if you go to grandma's house, not my grandma, she's dead, but if you go to a grandma's house or something, she's gonna have some access to technology that you're gonna enjoy. Netflix, and you're going to have Hulu. There's going to be a tablet. There'll be something. Even poor people have something where you can go, here, take my phone and watch YouTube, So there's some entertainment. Back when we were kids, they didn't have that. They didn't even have cable half the time. They just had antenna.
Yeah, we didn't have cable.
They just had antenna.
It was on a farm with a bunch of Mexicans living on there.
Yeah, and then there's no toys. There's no anything cool back then where nowadays, like, there's probably still not that at a lot of old people's houses, but at least you have YouTube or something, and every kid likes YouTube, so you can at least do that.
Yeah, I don't remember what year. I don't even remember what year Super Nintendo came out. It had to have been
92.
Yeah, maybe 92. But this was when that first started. It had to have been, I don't know. I think maybe I was 10 or 11. So, yeah, that was about the year Super Nintendo came out, probably. So even if it was possible to have it, like, it wasn't even a thing, and you still, with the Super Nintendos back then, you could only hook it up to a TV via the special cables. And so if you go to an old person's house and they just have the old TV with the UHF, VHF, was a little box, and you like plugged it into the thing, and it maybe got a little bit of a signal, and you had to mess with the rabbit ears on the top. Yeah. And then work on super old TV like that.
Well, I remember when I got Nintendo 64, our TV that we had, because the Nintendo 64 didn't have it only had the 3 plugs, the yellow, the red, and the white. And our TV didn't have that, so you had to have a thing called an RF modulator. And I remember I was really upset because I was so excited when I got it, and I couldn't even play it. And Nintendo 64 was so popular at the time, you couldn't find an RF modulator anywhere. So I couldn't even play it for like the first few days.
It was amazing we got the Nintendo 64, because when I got that, my dad brought me, because this was his whole deal all the time, is he'd break up with his wife. They weren't even married at the time, but he'd break up with her, and then that'd be the one time in the however many years that me and him hung out together. And then he would buy me something, so he bought me a Nintendo 64. And the only game available for Nintendo 64 is Mortal Kombat, which I didn't even want at the time. There's only 3 games out for it. It was Mario 64, Mortal Kombat, and possibly
GoldenEye.
I don't think so. I think it was may have been like a football game.
That would make sense, like Madden or something.
Yeah, Madden or something like that. But they were all gone. The only thing was Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat was $75 back then.
Yeah, that's crazy.
My dad bought them for me. It's crazy.
I have this thing, if somehow I have we have the money to do it or something someday, I want to do a candid camera type deal where I get a whole makeover done and I get myself looking like I'm in my mid 50s or so, and I want to have a mullet. I want to have a couple face tattoos and a neck tattoo and like some bleached pants and just look like I came from the 90s, and have a couple like trailer tattoos on my arms and stuff. And I want to go into like a GameStop and look around and just like, look like bewildered, and then have them come up to me and be like, "Hey, what's going on? How can I help you?" And I could be like, "Hey, oh no. The batteries died."
Our batteries died on our headphones. Headphones. We had batteries, but remember I just bought batteries. Check in that box. See that? Thing ain't supposed to be out. Those are the ones that are over the thing. You had Duracells.
They probably took them. No, they're not in there.
I had some Duracells. Sucks. Yeah, I can't have kids. There's a battery over there, but it's another shitty battery. Yeah, no, that's the one that came in them. These are the ones. Look at that Sunbeam. You know that's worthwhile. Yeah, oh well, I guess we'll just have to do it on the regular thing, because that's how I've been uploading it anyways. The only thing bad about that is we can't have any mistakes, and the sound quality is not going to be as good if I don't want it to be.
Anyway, though, I just want to be in there and be like, yeah, I just got out of prison, and I remember right before I went in, you guys came out with a Super Nintendo, and I just was wondering if you guys had a Super Nintendo because I've been really wanting to play one.
Goddamn Super Nintendo.
And then they'll be like, we don't have that. You have to go to a vintage store to get that. And I'll be like, no.
Hey, what the hell's a vintage store? You mean an antique shop?
But honestly, I bet people in prison know what all that stuff is. I'm pretty sure they have access to most things there. I mean, I've seen prison TikToks. So.
Oh, yeah, they sneak in a cell phone. Get prison
The
TikToks.
keister. The cell phone.
I was hoping one day I'd be on TikTok and I'd see my brother on there like, right now. I'm getting out right now.
Boy, y'all better come watch me.
Watch me. I'm making my ramen noodle surprise.
Boy, I'm going to get famous. They're going to get me out of here. I'm going to get myself a nice
Hell
big old 27-inch TV. Check me out right, Sean.
Big old swimming pool.
Give me a big old thing.
My family still. I could probably do like 39 episodes just on my family.
You're going to call me Fifi from now on.
Fifi.
Fifi. It's not as fun without the headset.
I know. Because you can't hear ourselves quite as good and you can hear the outside world better. It's not isolated. It's not as personal. That's why I understand on the Joe Rogan show, Joe Rogan usually always wants everybody to have their headphones on. And it makes sense. Because it is more intimate when you're talking to somebody with the headphones on.
I like Joe Rogan.
He's a good dude. I want to go down there and, hoping he opens his club soon. Everybody's got problems down there and trying to get shit started because there's too many building regulations down there from what I can tell. You're going to have permits for all kinds of shit.
Little Debbie's.
Like the old Tommy Segura, he still doesn't have his studio built and he started building it like fucking 10 months ago or something. I think they're finally getting on the right track, though. We'll see. I like to watch comedy podcasts myself, so I expect you guys to watch it, but our last episode, every episode is getting less and less people, which doesn't make any sense, because I feel like it's getting better. We're having more fun, and we know a little bit more what we're doing. But we're not getting any love. The good thing is I went out and I started telling people that I see outside of my home that's not family or friends, and just been telling some people about it, and I've been getting hits lately. So I went from, I think we only had 30 views just 3 days ago or something. Now we're up to close to 50. And it's particularly just from that, for the most part, I think. Oh, and our good buddy Jim.
That's right. Jim, you know who we're talking to.
Yeah. He watched it.
Mm-hmm. You were probably drinking a nice cup of Joe. Watching it.
Sitting up. Can't work, so he's at 76th Street Diner, 5 in the morning, having a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
All by himself.
Oh, memories.
Probably just looks at pictures of me and you every day. Because he also asked me about Stevie. Big Steve.
Big old Steve.
And then he asked me about Trevor.
Oh.
So he's thinking about everybody.
I haven't seen or heard from Trevor in a long time.
I've still got Trevor. I want to, because I know he does stuff with cameras, so I've been, if we do anything, I thought about getting a hold of him and having him possibly film stuff if we can afford him.
That'd be good.
And he's probably got good cameras.
I want to start doing some videos outside of here, like our stuff, our ideas that we have, like Republic,
Banana in Public,
just all types of stuff. Yeah, banana in public, plantain in public.
It would be funny too to do the Banana in Public. Obviously, we could do the commercial, but it'd be funny. We'd have to go to like the romance store and go and get like a big dildo and make one of those pants, and then just walk around and ask people, "What would you think? We're trying to find out how to market this product, and we wanted to get your ideas on what you think." And they're like, "Oh yeah, what's the product?" And then someone comes out with their big dong hanging out of these pants, Banana in Public pants.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a bra, but for a penis.
Yeah, I mean, it's like wearing underwear.
Yeah.
Same thing. Just, you know how they get the new underwear around where they have the pouch for your balls and the pouch for your cock. And then you just let them hang out right in your little pants there. It's the same idea, only this way you don't have to have underwear. So people who don't like to wear underwear can just hang it out the way they normally would.
Yeah.
And it's comfy.
You know what would be cool is if there was a Velcro peel that you could peel so you could go pee.
You peel the banana out?
Yeah.
That'd be funny, though. No, it don't even have to be Velcro. We can come up with something funny like magnets.
Yeah.
Like where it's real easy and there's like 4 magnets.
Yeah. Well, you can peel it.
Banana in public, and when you gotta pee, you just pull it down, and here we go free.
Yeah. Wee.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff we have to do. I just like, it's just fun to make people uncomfortable.
People are too comfortable. People are in this little world every day, and they just feel like that's just like they're in like this little terrarium, and that nothing bad can happen in that terrarium, and that they're safe. And I don't like that.
I've had a lot of problems lately with people talking to me when I'm at stores delivering my product. Really bad for the last couple of days, especially. I had like meth heads pull up to the truck and they wanted stuff, and then they waited for me, and then they talked to me for like 10 minutes, and then this was it the day before or the same day, I can't remember, but it was the day before. Some guy was trying to make me laugh or something because he thought I looked like I was upset when I left the store, and I walked out, and he said something, I didn't hear him, that I was looking at the homeless person on the street and trying to identify if it was one that I normally saw all the time, and I was like, I hope he doesn't come over here and talk to me. And instead, it was this other guy trying to make me laugh. He walked up, he literally talked to me for 40 minutes outside the store. Told me like everything that happened for like the past 5 years and how I made money and bought all these cars and all this stuff. And I was like, oh Lord Christ. Okay. I could be an ass, but I'm working.
Here, let me show you something in my truck. And push him in.
That's what I don't like about working. Like, where's the line these days? You can't do anything, so I can't be mean to people.
The other day, I thought for sure I was going to get in trouble, but I didn't. I went to a house, and it was a cabinet that I was replacing. That I was delivering a big old cabinet, and I was replacing. He was delivering it to replace one that we had brought before that was damaged, and I was already irritated because the customer wanted me to carry the cabinet in the house. And as soon as I got it in the house, he wanted it down the hallway. And as soon as I got it down the hallway, he wanted it in this room. And as soon as I got it in the room, I could clearly tell how he was going to want this cabinet situated. But for me to do so, it would have taken a lot of time and effort for me, which isn't my job to do. My job is to deliver the cabinets. So I got it in the room and situated how I wanted it, and I turned around to leave, and he was blocking the doorway, and you could tell he wasn't pleased with the way I had put the cabinet in. And I knew what he wanted. He wanted me to stand it up, but there was no way I was going to stand it up in there with the way it was, and I know if I had told him that, he would have just proceeded to tell me how to do it, and it would have just caused a whole long time process for me, and I was already irritated. So instead of all that, I said I knew that I was going to be stuck in that room until he got out of the way of the door. So I just acted like I wanted to show him something on the cabinet, and I said, is this the kind of cabinet you want? And once he walked out of the way of the door, I said, all right, I got to go. And then he goes, well, I don't know if I can lift this up to stand it up by myself. And oh, that sucks. All right, have a nice day. Bye. And I walked out. And when I went back to work, I told them the whole incident. And they were like, oh, well, that guy's a pain in the ass anyway. And he'll probably never buy cabinets from us again anyway, so it don't really matter. And I said, oh, well, that's good. That worked out perfect.
People. It's really hard to live in this world with, like, other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if I think we did talk about that maybe. I don't remember, but about should really be a law that at least constitutes you one murder. One legal murder as long as you had a justifiable reason to do it. Minimum. And I think that would help the world in general, just altogether, because if you get this one murder, you can get that frustration out of the way, and it would be justified because you're like, oh, this fucking asshole keeps bothering me every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I go here, he just won't leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
Or, this guy keeps trying to sleep with my wife, or this guy's looking at my kids funny every time I go, anything like that. And you get that one chance, and then you just go to the judge, and you're like, hey, it's my one.
It's my one. One and done.
I tell you what happened. He's an asshole.
It was like a bada bing, and then it was a bada boom.
Bada boom.
Huh.
The only thing you got to worry about with that is if someone feels like you're justified to be murdered. But that also, I think, would help the world because everybody they wouldn't want to talk to each other. Like they'd be worried about that, and it would, equalize everything out, and then people would just live their lives.
Mm-hmm. People see that's what the thing was like. Something similar to that actually existed back, like when Andrew Jackson and stuff was president. Where you could have a legal duel.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, people watched what they said more because they knew that at any given time, there could be a duel. So people were way more respectful to each other. Now, everybody's hiding behind Uncle Sam and, using the law and everything. They hate Uncle Sam, but then when it comes to, when they're offended by something, Uncle Sam's their best friend.
Yeah.
You offended me. You hurt my feelings.
I never understood anybody being offended. It doesn't...
I've never been offended. I've never used the word offended in a sentence where it applied to me.
Unless it was a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless it was a joke. Like,
what could I be offended about?
I don't think I heard the word offense or offended as a term that it's mostly used as nowadays. I don't think I ever heard that term other than like for like sports until I was probably 20, 21.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard of it before, but I think it came from like work training.
Yeah, and back then, even if I did hear it before that or whatever, it was more so like as a joke. It wasn't when people said they were offended. It was more of a joke or like it was more loosely used. It wasn't a real term for something that was real.
And plus, when people were offended before, they'd really be offended by something. Like you'd be like, hey, baby, look at those big titties.
Yeah.
Or something, and that would be, that's a little more vulgar.
I remember the first time
a little more creepy.
The first time I heard that word used so loosely that it pissed me off and made me want to strangle the person that said it to death was on the radio. Years ago in Granville, not far from where we live, they made a cell phone tower, and to make it more appeasable to the public around the area, they kind of try to disguise it as a tree.
Oh, a tree, yeah.
And it doesn't really look like a tree, but
they still do that shit today.
Honestly, I don't really care either way. I don't care if it looks like a tree or not. I don't really care. There's so much other shit around that is an eyesore, like that is not going to bother me. And I I just remember hearing on the radio when it first went up about they interviewed this lady from the local area, and she said something along the lines of, "I was driving by and I saw the tower, and I realized that it wasn't a tree; it was a tower, and I thought to myself, I think I'm offended." How the hell can you think you're offended? Either you're offended or you're not. You think you're offended? You have to put thought into it? Like, I think I'm bothered by this.
Yeah.
Do you think you have a itch on your arm that you have to scratch? Do you think I don't understand how you can think you're offended. You're not offended if you have to think about it. Obviously, it's not anything that bad. It's a fucking fake tree. Like, are you offended by your fake Christmas tree? Like, I don't understand. Do you get offended by fake fruit in a store?
Or sitting on your damn counter in your kitchen or your table?
I just wanted to find that lady and strangle the life out of her.
Yeah. I just don't. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Anything, like, I know that I'm pretty sure I've said this before to you, that I'm white, and sure, I don't understand.
You're white?
No, I don't know. I haven't. Technically, I'm Mexican.
Dude,
Technically.
you're white?
No. Yeah. No. Shh. Shh.
I
Don't
feel like
tell anybody.
my whole life's been a lie.
Yeah, don't tell anybody. You're really red. Right now.
I'm almost as red as these things behind me.
It's turning your beard red, too. I assume you're going to be completely red. You're going to be, what's his name?
Vision?
Vision, yeah.
But go on about being white. What were you saying?
But I know I'm white. I don't understand the plight and misfortune of certain people, but like I said, I've never been a privileged person. No one's ever gave a shit. I come from a shitty family that did a lot of shitty things, and police used to just stop by and shove a light in my face and ask me who I am and where I'm from. And, oh, you're one of those Penley boys and all this stuff, so I got treated like shit, growing up poor as fuck. I never had anything good and still don't have shit all to this day. I'd worked my entire life since I was like 14 years old. So I don't find any privilege in there. I haven't been a slave, but no, neither has anybody that I know or you know in this entire world. So we can eliminate that from the world. That should be eliminated altogether. And just that idea, the offended mentality of people. Obviously there's people that think of things. I got a dad and a grandpa especially, who most of their lives were very racist against black people especially. And it was disturbing because I had a lot of black friends. You couldn't date a black girl and you couldn't bring black people back to your house because your dad or grandpa would freak out. And that happened not only to me, but other people in my family too. And you'd bring a black guy over and the grandpa would be like, get that damn, out of my house. He can't come in here on Thanksgiving. There's plenty of stories. If I could tell them the way they should be told without people getting offended, as I'm talking about, then you could, tell all these crazy stories and it'd be funny. But nothing I mean, and just like what happened this past week with John Gruden getting fired, or technically resigning from his coaching job at the LA Raiders, that he called Roger Goodell a faggot in emails when they weren't even investigating him. He wasn't a coach, and he had personal emails sent calling Roger Goodell a faggot, and he did say some semi-racist, said some black guy had like Michelin tire lips or something, and between people that might be, that would have been a joke for everybody's lives, even black people. I had a black guy that I worked with in Benton Harbor come up to me, and there was this lady that was one of our supervisors in the area on the machine, and he came up to me and he said, He looked at me and he said that if you rolled her head in flour, you'd make gorilla cookies. And he was black, talking about a black girl that he worked with. And it was my boss. Like that. People talk like that, regardless of how they actually are.
Yeah, there's no, I don't know, there's no rules to being a human being.
Yeah.
There's no guidebook or anything. People should not be restrained from what they say just to make someone else not hurt or whatever. Like, nobody should have to cater what they do for other people. If you don't like it, then stay away from them. If you don't like it, don't watch it. If you don't like it, don't talk about it. You know, you're feeding the fire when you do that. You're not making it any better.
But one of my points is that, especially if you're a white person, and this has happened to me, especially with my kid's mother back in the day, like, I like to tell jokes, and some of the jokes are racial. It wouldn't be necessarily about any certain type of race. You get Polish jokes, you get all kinds of stupid jokes, and blind jokes, and any kind of joke. It's just any joke's a joke. It's funny. It doesn't matter who it's about.
You can't make a joke without it
offending something.
You got to make fun of something for it to be funny. If you're not, then it's just stupid. It's just going to be a stupid knock-knock joke.
My son's mom was all mad because of some of the jokes I said, and said, I'm offended by that. How can you be offended by it? You are white. It's impossible.
Yeah, that was just like today. I was working with my partner, and it surprised me, actually, that he's one of the people that would do this to me, but I was talking like this. Where's this out there? I'm going to go over this way. I was talking like that, and he said he was offended, and I said, why are you offended? Are you part of the deaf community? Are you handicapped in any way that causes you to talk that way? Why are you offended? Like, I don't know. I'm not making fun of anybody. It's funny to hear that. Yeah. It's funny to hear someone talk that way. I'm sorry.
It's not funny that the person's deaf.
No.
You're not going to make fun of the deaf person. You're literally just making fun of the sound. It's more funny that you could have a person that's normal and make them feel like they're the person with that problem.
Yeah.
Like you're projecting that. Like if you call your friend the faggot, call them that. It's not that you're calling them gay. It's just not what they are. So it's funny because then they got to come back at you with something.
Yeah.
That's the point. If you're going to dish it out, you should be allowed to get it back. And it should be funny.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. Like, if a deaf person heard me, or, sorry, didn't hear me, but knew somehow I was...
Read your lips.
Read my lips in a way where they're like, that guy's over there talking like when I talk. I would give them complete freedom to make fun of me, like, that guy over there looks like... Well, I guess I don't look like him anymore, but people used to think I looked like Conan O'Brien with my Conan O'Brien hair. That guy looks like Conan O'Brien hair. Or whatever, I don't know. There's probably 1,000 things people can make fun of.
I don't know how many times people have said stuff like, your mom's a whore, or whatever. Like, okay, I guess she is.
Yeah.
Did you sleep with her?
Yeah.
You're like, what, 16?
I remember.
Like, I hope you did sleep with her, because that's pretty disgusting.
That's just like my coworker, the same one. He tried telling me something like that, like he banged my mom, or he was going to bang my mom, and I just went...
That's gross.
Okay. I went,
good. I'm not doing it.
I'm sorry. I just kind of feel bad, I guess. I don't know. Thanks for doing that for my mom.
Yeah. Said, what happened? Did you pass up that cute girl down the street and you were like, ooh, I'd rather have a 50-year-old woman.
I want the G-MILF.
I want the big Le MILF.
I want the GILF. Give me GILF. Yeah. Hello, ma'am.
There's too many young people in our school. I want the old lady.
Hello, ma'am. I want to tell you something very important. You're in my country what we call GILF.
Remo.
Come closer. I tell you what GILF is.
You want any more?
Ooh, I'll take a little taste.
This bottle's almost $50.
Ooh.
It's delicious. They got a few different varieties, and this, from what I hear, is the best. I had the blue label last time I had it, and it's a little bit cheaper than this one. Same proof, but it was good though.
My man boobs are gonna be engorged with nourishment.
Mm-hmm. I know. I need to work out so bad. I've just been putting it off. I gotta order some weights. I got everything I need to work out. I just don't do it. I really need to do it.
Yeah.
I wanna build up my strength enough again to where I can take on 2 people at once and just lift them over my head.
Yeah, take on 2 people at once.
No, even when I was weak, like, if you're skinny, if you weigh less than me, you have no chance at hurting me. Like, I was remembering back, we had this kid we worked with named Baby Sass.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big boy. He's a thick boy, and he was a football player in high school, and in a big high school. And he thought he was tough until he took me on, trying to say that I couldn't, like he could, like, play like we were tackling each other.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't budge me a centimeter. I just run him through like nothing. And he was bigger. Well, I was probably heavier than him, but he's a big boy. I think. Is he taller than me? I don't know.
No. Well, yeah, he's taller than you. Yeah, he was about the same height as me.
About 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, I picked him up like a baby and
we carry him around.
But yeah, I just remember when Scott, our boss, first hired him. He goes, "Oh, you guys, wait till you guys see this guy. You won't be calling. What did he say? You won't be messing with him." And then when I saw him, I'm like, "What are you talking about? This guy's like a baby."
Oh, we called him Baby Sass because he looked like Will Sasso's baby.
Yeah, he looked like a baby version of Will Sasso. And
Will Sasso is tall too.
Yeah. But yeah, he was basically the nicest, softest person you could meet. Like, just a big teddy bear.
Mm.
And it was funny whenever he would try to seem violent or intimidating. Like that one time when he took one of Joe's many knives that he had laying around and tried pointing it at me. And I just took it and I just went, pushed my body in it. And it scared him. Because I leaned in towards it.
Some people just don't have the heart. Don't have the heart to murder.
It's okay though.
Then other people murder people for the dumbest reasons. There would be no murder porn rampant if people didn't murder for stupid reasons, like just a woman cheated on them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or a $150,000 life insurance policy. Something it's so dumb. Like, I think that's why I like serial killers so much, is because they're not motivated by the dumb stuff that gets everybody caught, and that's why serial killers get away with it longer typically. It's because they're not motivated by the same things.
There's no MO.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like a lot of one of my favorite excuses I like to hear from serial killers when they kill somebody is because they don't want that person to be upset at them, or they don't want the person to live with the grief of knowing that they're, like, when they kill their parents, for instance, they just kill them because they don't want their parents to know that they killed this other person, or like they don't want their parents
they're ending their suffering, basically.
Yeah, that's how they justify it. Like, a lot of times when they kill certain people, they're like, "Oh, I knew I was going to go to prison, and I didn't want them to live without me because they're old, so I killed them," or whatever. Like, I killed their dog, and I didn't want them to live without their dog, so I killed them. And it's always something weird like that, and I'm just like, okay, I mean, I guess so.
For the most part, like, in my mind, a lot of, some serial killers are disgusting. They rape children or rape women and do different weird shit, having sex with people's innards, or skull raping, or doing corpse stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that stuff's kind of disgusting, but if you get down to the core and you get rid of like the mental illness part of some of the people, because the problem is that not only probably were they going to be serial killers, but on top of that, they were abused and tortured and all this, so it changed their onset of what I think it's like almost like a human evolution where people, most serial killers are very intelligent and they lack, I think, lacking empathy is an advantage over most human beings. And so if you lack that, if, it's like anything, like if you're deaf, you can see better, you can feel things differently, you can understand emotion in a better way, things like that. And the same thing with if you lack empathy, so some part of your brain is maybe a little smaller and something's bigger, and you get just a little bit more use out of something that makes you different in a slightly different way, more advantageous. Kind of like you could probably call people like that, like on the spectrum of autism, to where they're on the spectrum and maybe they don't have social skills, but they have all these other skills. And being able to get away with murder would be a pretty good skill, especially back 200 years ago, 300 years ago, 500 years ago, whatever. If you can get away with that, like the only thing preventing people from being serial killers these days is cameras everywhere.
Oh, I'm sure there's still a lot of serial killers around.
Oh,
but,
there are.
Obviously.
But a lot of them are like truck drivers.
Yeah, and obviously, like, the FBI or whoever, they're not going to talk about the ones they're not catching. So, and then obviously there's people that they don't have enough to, like, really go on to say anything about it.
And there's all the different stuff like with the Jeffrey Epstein thing, where obviously there's millionaires and billionaires involved in all this, and leaders of countries and governors and former presidents and all kinds of shit built up. So they're not, with the world to exist the way it exists now, if you were to get rid of all those people and put them in prison and all this and have all these big trials, they feel that it would hurt the elitist people.
It's funny because, like, I guarantee you there's a lot of famous people and rich people that are serial killers. Because, like, for instance, I can just imagine, like, Jeff Bezos sitting there and just being so mad one day and being like, oh, and they'd be like, please, Mr. Bezos, is there anything we can do to make you help you? And he's like, let's go to Brazil. And then they take him to Brazil, and he's like, find me someone who looks like this, whoever he hates or whatever. And they're like, okay. And they bring him somebody. They talk. They don't even have to drag him there. They talk him into coming with money or whatever, promising him something. And they bring him to Jeff Bezos, and they're like, he's all yours, Mr. Bezos. And then Mr. Bezos does whatever, stabs him or to death or however else he wants to kill him. Then, he has his people get rid of the body. Then he gets in the plane and just flies back to wherever he goes, and that's the end of it. Like, there's no way anybody would even believe that Jeff Bezos did that.
Like, all these rich people have their own planes.
Yeah.
Private planes, or they're good friends with people that own private planes. How hard would it be just to take whoever you want? You're sleeping with some chick, and then she starts acting a little crazy one day. So you just stuff her in a box, put her on the plane, and then you get over the ocean and just drop it. Would that be hard? No, not at all. There's no cameras. There's no nothing. No one's going to tell on you. No one cares. All these people are paid off. Anything like that is so easy to do. And on top of it, what do you think these space missions that they're doing? Like Elon Musk's blown up how many spaceships now? Would you think that there's not one person like on those capsules exploding?
Yeah.
And it just explodes the body and no one ever knows
they're
anything?
Just floating in space. Parts of them are in space.
Well, these ones don't even go to space. They just blow up in the desert.
Yeah. But yeah, just think about that though too. If like they're going up to space and they're just like dumping their bodies in space when they go up there. Like,
yeah, that would be easy too. And that could be the whole reason they're building all these space rockets. So like, we got so many fucking bodies. we gotta fucking start space programs, and that's why all the 3 richest people in the world, Richard Branson, fucking Elon Musk, and Jeff Bezos, are building rockets. They gotta get rid of these fucking bodies, and they might have been in cahoots with fucking Jeffrey Epstein. They're taking all the people that know the information and taking them up. And,
you know what's crazy too that I just thought of? In outer space, there's no law because it's not Earth. What if they're doing all types of messed up stuff in outer space, and they're like, if they find out we weren't on Earth when we did it, we were in outer space. There's no law in outer space. William Shatner's up there banging donkeys and stuff.
Sabotage.
Yeah, William Shatner's up there.
Shatner loves to say sabotage.
Yeah.
He won't say the word sabotage. He likes sabotage.
Sabotage.
But yeah, it's crazy because like
there's definitely shit going on.
Oh yeah, rich people can do whatever they want.
Well, it's just the same way like how they got all these shows like 90 Day Fiance or whatever, where obviously all these ugly dudes, they want to find hot chicks, and so they get some chick from the Philippines or Brazil, and they pay all their way back and forth to the United States and back to try to marry them so they can come here. And the women don't care about the guys. They're just trying to get to the United States. It doesn't matter. And they find the hottest girl they could possibly get with online.
It's just prostitution.
Yeah. And then sometimes they don't even sleep with them.
I know. I felt so bad for this one because I never watched the show, and I saw that Big Ed dude.
Oh, yeah.
And I really wanted to watch some of that.
He's like famous now, so he's doing good.
Yeah. But that's not the point, though. I just, that's what struck my curiosity. So I was like, I want to see some of that. So I want to see that Big Ed do something funny. So I get on Hulu, and they didn't have that season, but I did watch a season that was pretty ridiculous where this one chick, she's from Russia. First of all, she didn't even speak with a Russian accent. She was from Russia, but didn't have a Russian accent, which clearly means that she's been practicing for some time. She was preparing herself to go to America at some point. Then the job that she wanted was in America. She meets the guy. He brings her back here to get married or whatever. And the whole time he's with her, they're engaged, but she won't sleep with him. And he's like, why don't you, and she's like, no, no.
Why we gotta wait till we
get
married?
Finally, she caught him at like a bar or whatever, and some girls were flirting with him, and she got real jealous, so she did end up giving him a little. But still, you could clearly tell that she was not interested. She was clearly there for business. Like, I don't know.
I just watched this thing about former KGB guy that separated from Russia. And he talks, and this was like in the 80s, and he's talking about how basically the idea for the Russians and probably other countries like China and stuff, the idea is the long game. They don't play the short game. So basically they're trying to create dissent throughout the United States. So they just create propaganda little by little, and their plan is to fuck up the United States over the long haul. And then when it's in chaos, then they can come in and take over like they want to. And it's working. And
I'm sure that's what China's doing too.
Well, what is it? 20? Yeah, I think it's 29 out of. It's either 19 or 20 or 29 out of 30 Christian groups that are on Facebook. Like 29 out of 30 of them or something like that are all originated from Russian troll farms.
Yeah, I just found out that China invests a lot of money, like billions of dollars, into colleges.
Yeah.
American colleges.
And
so
that's why the Asian people can get in there and become the doctors and the lawyers and all that stuff.
Yep.
And that's going to help them.
They're basically bribing these colleges to teach Americans what they want them to learn, so that they're more conditioned to how they want them to be.
And then also they become the professors at the colleges, and then they teach all the things that are making them uber progressive, and then they teach all these overly progressive thoughts to all these young college kids, and then the college kids are going around spreading that to all the other kids, and it just keeps going on and on until people are so progressive that you have what's going on today, and that's complete censorship of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're banning everything you can think of.
I know. That's like
how?
They probably want to censor what I want to say about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I can't believe it.
I know.
I mean, how do we get through this? That's what I want to know. I think the only way is well, the big one would be that murder mandate. Allow us to murder somebody. That would help. And B, what I've always thought for all my life is that just eliminate religion whatsoever in the entire country. No more religion. You can practice religion on your own however you want. Just churches are gone.
Yeah.
There's no tax exemptions for any church. Nothing. Get rid of all the churches.
Yeah. Religion should be practiced at home.
Yeah.
And it should be...
You know, you could have friends over and do like a religious ceremony by yourselves.
Yeah.
Things like that. Whatever you want to do.
Like, why do you need a building? Like, why do you need a building for any god to hear you at or whatever? The whole point of any of that crap is just for them to make money off of ignorant people. Not ignorant, but people that aren't smart enough to realize. Like, they're being taken advantage of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that part is obvious because obviously there's probably a lot of good churches in the country. And all over the world, I'm sure there's great churches that are just churches for being religious.
Yeah.
But then you got millions of churches, especially nowadays, they buy former football stadiums, they buy 2 jet airplanes, all this stuff, these super churches, they got fucking 90, 100-inch screen TVs all over and bands, and they just trick you into thinking that you're doing something.
I know. Like,
it's not even anything to do with church.
Like this one church that's pretty popular in Granville. I'm sure you know what it is.
Res Life.
Yeah. I didn't know if you wanted to say the name, but...
We'll say it.
Anyway, I remember years ago when I was with a girl that I was dating, her whole family talked me into going to this church. And just to entertain them, I went. And I remember this place was the most bougie church I ever saw in my life. And while they're like talking and being projected onto this big old flat screen TV, which they just had come out, so they couldn't have been cheap, they're begging people to give them money for trips to go to Africa to help the poor people. And I'm like, maybe sell some of your shit.
Yeah.
Like... You're begging us to give you money to go to Africa and do all this stuff when...
Yeah, why don't you hire... Instead of going to Africa to spread religious, why don't you go there and, like, fund a company to come in and build them, like, good water systems?
Or, I have a better idea. Use that money to hire a bunch of mercenaries to come and kill all the freaking terrorists, making people dig up diamonds and...
Yeah.
Do all that stupid shit. Maybe go after
Cobalt for fucking batteries.
Yeah.
For cell phones.
Why don't you just get a bunch of mercenaries to come in there and just kill all the terrorists, and then there you go.
Cambodian child porn rings.
The reason why they're not is because they don't care about any of that. They just care about
the church.
Yeah. They just care about spreading the good word. The
guy wearing, it's like that old, what was that, Don't Be a Menace to South Central drinking juice.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry about why, God, why, God, now I can't think of it. My brain goes fried for some reason. Oh, yeah, don't ask why, preacher gotta have a nice car. Don't ask why. Preacher gotta have a nice house. I said, don't ask. I said, don't ask. No questions. Just give the money.
Give me the money.
Well, that's basically what it is.
But yeah, back to the no religion thing. I think that would be really great. No public religious places. Just pray at your house. You know, it's not like
Yeah, pray as you wish, whatever you want. No one's going to disparage you for believing in something.
mm-mm.
Just don't give people money that don't pay taxes. And the whole reason why the religion's there is not to pay taxes, like Scientology.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's not a religion. That's like
It's like
a pathway to acting.
It's like a Lord of the Rings book that they turn into a religion.
Yeah, well, they have all these people, and they make them pay a bunch of money for books and testing and all this stupid shit, and then they force them to do whatever they want. But the whole reason is for them to get money. And then the people that are up don't do any of that shit. None of it. But they have these meetings with all these people, and they force them to give them thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and they get thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that believe in it and give them money. And then what they do is they take, to keep their power, they have all these big-time actors that get them jobs because they're connected with the government and with the studios and all this stuff just to keep money. That's all it is.
It's basically Herbalife with aliens.
And Tom Cruise probably isn't even as crazy as he is. He just acts like that because that's how he gets all his work.
Herbalife with aliens. And a little bit of Amway. Huh.
So sweet. I mean, I feel like I'm a bee. Like, I take my whiskey, my sweet little whiskey, and I'm like, all day. That's all I care about. I'm like, now lady's like, you didn't spend that time with me. I'm like, shut up. Give me my whiskey.
Yeah.
And I just like, and I'm like, just walking around the house, all
doing the bee dance.
Yeah. And I'm like, you gotta go to work. I'll take you. And I'm driving, whatever, just doing whatever. And it's all for the fucking sweet whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
I work and I spend my hard-earned money and fucking little juice that does nothing for me, and then I'm on the toilet going, blah.
That's because reality is not fun, so you need alcohol to make it fun.
Oh, speaking of which, I heard some news that Dave is also on Paxil.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got a brother,
Mm-hmm.
a Paxil brother.
And he says he doesn't have the same problem, but when they upped his dosage for a while, he did.
What, with his Peter?
Paxil dick, yeah.
Yeah.
But now he doesn't have it, but when they upped his dose for a while, but he doesn't think he needs it, but it seems like he's happier with it, so I think he does probably need it.
For me, which actually I was going to go to the doctor to talk about switching, because you're supposed to switch here and there because your body
figure out what works best for you with the least amount of side effects.
That plus your body gets a tolerance to it, and which I've started to notice.
Otherwise, you just got to keep upping the dose.
But for me, all that Paxil does is take the edge off of my impulses, because I have a natural. I have a natural hate for people. And when I'm around people, it's like my stress level
builds up.
Yeah, it keeps going up. And there's this threshold right here. And when I get to that threshold, I feel really violent. Like, I feel like I'm going to do something really violent or something that I wouldn't normally do. And what the Paxil does is just keep me right underneath that threshold. It means that I'm still uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I still want to choke you to death, but I don't feel like I have no control over it.
Yeah.
I feel like I can stop it from happening, and that's all it does.
And that's where I've been lately. Like, I was losing a bunch of weight, and I was doing good, and I wasn't messing up my diet or anything. I was going, and then all of a sudden I hit a point, and then something, I don't know what exactly happened, but like, just all of a sudden, I was just talking with my old lady about this the other day. Like, just I hit a spot, and I think it has something to do with school starting and the kids being around a lot and getting on my nerves. But I hit a spot where that's the feeling I get is at some point, just dealing with anybody or anything, like my only goal for the entire day is that I want to choke somebody to death.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just want to grab their neck and choke them and stare deep into their eyes until they pass out.
Watch the life leave their eyes.
And then that would make me happy, and then I could probably get through like another month.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have that feeling. I mean, I don't act on it. I'm not an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
But if I ever need to, I can always lock into that. And I got about 500 people built up.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could do before I relieved all that stress. You know, maybe punching somebody in the face would feel good, but it probably only lasts for like a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
And but I don't think any medicine would help me because I've always had a problem with medicine. Like, even I never took Vicodins in my life, but my grandpa's girlfriend years ago, when I was young, gave me like her full 750 milligram Vicodins. I took like one of them, and my back was hurting, and I get like a high for like 15 minutes, and then I took one after that when I was hurting again. Nothing.
Yeah.
And then later I took like two. Nothing. Not a taste of anything. And that's just how I am with everything. And the same with whiskey. I drink a fucking half a bottle of whiskey on my own.
Yeah, I mean, with the like it took me forever to want to like even try to take the pills. For me, it was more like the last thing I could think of to do, because I felt like if I didn't do something soon, I was gonna do something very bad.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I probably wouldn't have even tried if I didn't have a kid, because I don't know. That's all I really
care so much.
Yeah, but I don't want to lose my kid. I don't want to not see my kid, so I took the pills. And
my kid's an adult, so I'm over that.
Yeah, but I didn't really realize how much of a difference it made until I stopped taking it, because I took it straight for probably I want to say maybe a year, and then after a year, I didn't really make a conscious decision not to take it, but I kind of just started slacking, and I started skipping days and stuff, and I started to quickly realize like how much I depended on it, and how easy it was for me to snap at things, and I realized then like this is something I need to, maybe I'm more dependent on it now because I started taking it, but I have to keep taking it now. And
but it is like an SSID, right? So you can't quit it cold turkey anyway. So you gotta like wean yourself off, depending on how long you've had it for, a year or two.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could have like a seizure and die just from stopping taking it.
Yeah. Well, there's times where like I'll forget like 2 days in a row, and when that happens, it's almost like the way I can describe it is in my head is like when like a video game glitches, like for a minute my mind will get fuzzy and my fingers and my toes will tingle just for like a split second, and it'll flash like that like probably every half an hour until I get my medicine, and it's crazy. It's like a physical effect, like. Yeah. Your brain glitches.
Well, it's like your serotonin. I think it's your serotonin levels, something to do with that, and then it like balances out. Like when you're on something like that, that's the point of it. Is it builds up your serotonin to a certain level, and with that, you're used to this particular level. But if you stop taking it, all of a sudden you go the opposite direction, and it tries to even it out because your serotonin's used to being up here, and now it's gone, and then this is trying to balance that out, so you go doing like a dump in your brain, and your brain doesn't know what to do, and then you're like crashing. So it fucks you up. Something along those lines.
I wouldn't even have to take medicine if there was like probably 7 billion less people on the earth.
Yeah.
But because people like to have sex and make more children, I have to do it. And it's like people are selfish, like I have one kid. he has one kid.
Yeah.
Why do you need more than one kid? Seriously. Why? Why do you need to have more than one kid? Like, how hard is it? Seriously.
And I've been with the same person for over 10 years, and I haven't had one kid.
Stop having kids. Seriously.
It's not hard.
Why do we, everybody, I'm sure.
I drink all the time, look.
I'm sure
You've
most.
seen me on here.
I'm sure most of you people who are watching this, especially people that have watched.
Affect me making good decisions, and I would have a kid because I'd be drunk, and that was an excuse.
Especially most people on here that have watched the show more than once. Obviously, you like what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You people probably hate people a lot too, and so like, I just feel like. As many people on this earth that hate people, you'd think they'd stop making more people. Everybody's like, oh, I hate people so much. Come on, babe, let's go have unprotected sex. And they have sex, and the girl's, I'm pregnant. And then the guy acts like he's excited. Oh, great, honey, great, we're going to have another kid.
Oh, so happy.
That's why there's so many people and why you hate people. Stop it.
Yeah. Let's quit it. We should go. I wish... The world, it wouldn't even take that long. You'd go on like a 4-year ban on having kids.
Yeah.
And it would literally affect the entire rest of the world.
And it's so stupid. One thing that's really been pissing me off lately is I keep hearing shit on different, vines online, or I'll hear it on the radio talk shows or whatever. People saying like, "Oh, we're really worried right now because we're hearing that." Fertility rates dropping way down, and we're gonna get a big drop within the next 30 years. Good.
Yeah.
Why are you upset about that? Good.
There's fucking like 8 or 9 billion people.
Yeah. Why is anybody worried about that?
There's plenty. I mean, sure, there's plenty of land, but the way we do business in our countries doesn't allow for that to happen.
Yeah.
Like if people were farming on their own and sustaining themselves, it'd be different, but that's not how it is. They got factory farming that's taking up hundreds of thousands of acres of fucking land for each crop. That every time you crop in the same spot over and over, what happens to the land is it gets worn out.
Yeah, there's not nutrients.
All the nutrients,
in the soil.
they disappear. You're supposed to move the crops every year. You move them and move them, move them, and that's how farms work. But because of all these monocrops, you can't do that, and then we're just running out of shit. And now with everybody with the COVID shit, getting pissed off, quitting, not working, doing shit like we're doing right here, even though we work and do this, which a lot of people don't do, they're not, everybody's looking for people to work. And now you can't do shit. Everything closes early. And then you got you can only go through the drive-thru at fucking restaurants because... they don't have staff to cover the people inside. And fucking...
Well, one thing I encountered that I actually talked to a couple people that run businesses is some of these places, it's not because they don't have enough employees. They don't want more employees because then they figured out they're getting just as much business through the drive-thru.
Yeah.
And they don't have to hire people working the counters and cleaning up the dining area.
Well, that too, but places like McDonald's are raising their wages to like... I think I seen a picture of one that was like $21 an hour.
In Traverse City.
Yeah.
And
so obviously they need help, and I go to speedways and stuff and deliver stuff, and they're like not half the stores, but a lot of them can't keep third shift workers, so they're fucking closed all the time, and then it fucks up my whole delivery system.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that because I'm there, and obviously I've seen that people come in and they just don't stay there very long.
The bottom line is, people need to stop having kids.
Yes.
There needs to be less people.
And when you have kids, stop coddling them.
Yeah. Kids aren't going to break. Kids are durable.
Mm-hmm. And if a few get taken along the way or die, that's just how life works. Like, people have to die.
Yeah, that's...
People have to die.
Yeah.
It's natural. It's always happened. And when you're in the cities, back in the day, you didn't have cities. You lived in caves, or you lived in whatever you built, underground, whatever. And your kids would go out, and they'd get eaten by fucking animals.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same process Only now that we've gotten rid of the animals in the cities, but sometimes, like California has like mountain lions and shit like that, and occasionally they grab a little kid.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey.
Yeah. And so that stuff still happens here and there, but it's not as rampant. So you gotta take into account the city factor, where there is no animals, but there's some guy waiting to grab them and rape them and kill them, and that's just gonna happen. And then what the best part of that is when they do that to the kid, instead of putting them in jail, you should be able to kill them.
Yeah, and then you just make another one.
Yeah.
That's when you make another one.
Yeah.
You make a baby. If that one don't work out, then go make another baby. Why do you got to keep pumping them out?
And kids these days, I can't remember what the number is. Something like cost over your lifetime, like $180,000 or something per kid. So imagine having to, if you got 10 kids, that's $1.8 million you got to make.
Well, yeah, because like back in the day, if kids for Christmas, let's just say, even if you're talking about like a system, you got a Nintendo 64, all the kids are going to share that Nintendo 64. There's 4 controllers.
Yeah.
They're going to fight over. Nowadays, there's like, kids want iPads, Chromebooks, shit like that.
Cell phone.
Things that you can't share. So then you got like 3 kids. That's 3 times, $400 at the least?
Yeah. And if they want the new shit, fucking iPhone's like $700.
Yeah. Just have one kid, one and done it.
Yeah.
And don't be greedy and be like, eh.
And you can give them everything you want.
If you get a boy and you wanted a girl, go adopt a kid. There's plenty of them.
There's a lot of them. You can get them young.
Yeah.
They don't know you're not their dad until they're like 13. They're like, why am I so ugly? But you guys are good looking, or the other way around. I'm so fucking good looking, but my parents are ugly.
Just stop it. It's so stupid because you see all these commercials. Why don't they? Okay, like on Price is Right, they're always like, spade and neuter your pet, and adopt, don't breed. Go adopt animals. Why don't they do that for people?
Yeah.
Spade and neuter your people. Adopt people. Stop fucking making them. Who cares if they're your blood or not?
And it could be, sure. It hasn't worked out that great for the Chinese people, but I don't know. Once you've had a certain amount of kids, it should be mandatory that you get your balls chopped.
Not chopped off, though. Just clipped.
Clipped.
Yeah. I've been thinking about getting mine done anyway.
I want mine done.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to go to the doctor.
The reason why I don't want to do it is because then I got to take a week off from work. And I don't want to take a week off of work. But
you don't really have to, technically, because my old boss, Maurizio, got it done, and he went back to work, and he was like all sore. He kept sitting on ice.
But I gotta carry windows and all that. I'd rather rest.
Yeah.
But the problem is I work so much overtime. If I take time off, I'm gonna lose.
Yeah, you broke.
Like half my check from taking time off. I got paid time off, but they only pay you for 40 hours in a week when I work like 60 hours. And that's time and a half, so that's half my check. And, but, yeah, get your nuts chopped. A very wise man I met one time said, get your nuts chopped or stick with the old lady and the four maids. And then his brother told me, either that or go in the back door.
Go through the back door.
I don't prefer the back door.
Yeah.
I don't have any interest in any of that. But if you are someone who is interested in that, then just go that route.
Yeah. But you can, and sometimes there's rare times, it happens occasionally that just magic happens and it reverses itself. And then you can have kids and you have this accidental kid. Boop! It's meant to be. That's how it is. It's like dying. If you just happen to die, it's just dealt to you.
That's another thing I never understood, okay? So in religion, they say God made everybody the way they're supposed to be, and God made them with a purpose. Everything happens for a purpose. All this stuff about God, everything happens. We don't have, it's fate. But then in the Bible it says, thou shalt not kill. But what if you do kill somebody?
Wouldn't that be
Obviously,
fate?
it had to have been fate because
That's how
it
God made you.
happened. Yeah, God
Yeah.
made you that way. So, like,
But that's why they made laws and religions so that they could purposely say that that wasn't the case, and that's why they had to kill you.
yeah, it's stupid because, like,
It's
all right,
hypocritical.
okay, so, like, then you're going to say, okay, so God made me, and he made me the way he wanted me to be made. I went and killed this person, but then I'm going to go to hell for it. So
Yeah.
he's like, I'm going to make this guy kill this person. I'm going to punish him for it.
Mm.
Like, that don't make no sense.
Well, that is one thing I did want to talk about. I almost forgot about it. We came to the subject, is the subject of heaven and eternal life and hell. Like, I don't believe in hell or heaven anyways. Like, I don't necessarily believe in Jesus so much, but I do believe that there can't possibly not be something. Like, we were created by random acts, so randomly there's got to be something in the fucking universe as well. It doesn't have to be us. And when you think of things, and I probably talked about this on a different episode too, I don't know, but I'm half drunk half the time, but that they found out that trees can hear things and react. They can feel things and react when animals are eating them, or the sounds of bugs going through and eating their leaves even makes them change. And then they'll protect themselves against the bugs and make themselves poisonous, things like that. So obviously trees can think. All the stuff in the world, everything can think. Everything's alive to a certain extent. So even if we don't see it, it doesn't mean that other things aren't alive. Like even black matter, anything in space, planets can be alive. You know, things are happening. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to know, but the idea of heaven itself, like I always think about this, like, you know, the worst people in the world are coming out today, and we've been talking about this through most of this episode, is that all these people that feel like they're so privileged as to they can be offended by things and take it out on other people, that just live their life the way they want to live, and they can make judgments on people. And that's how I feel about heaven. Like, if there was a heaven, and I die, and I go to this heaven, I'm happy all the time. Oh, everything's a fucking beach, and I'm so happy floating around. Oh, hey, Uncle Victor. Whatever it is, I don't know. Just floating. How could you be happy all the time? It's impossible. And why would you want to be? The fun part about life is that there are things that are challenging.
Mm-hmm.
If life was so easy when you get out, it would be the most miserable fucking thing. And I feel like if I went to heaven, I would recognize that the second I got there and be like, fuck, this sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do something fun. And that's why there's so much fucked up shit in the world, because people are like, get me the fuck
You have to have a contrast between the two.
Yeah.
You can't just like
heaven's ridiculous. It's the dumbest idea ever.
Yeah, it's stupid.
And hell's also stupid too, because I've always thought of, you go to hell, okay, you're in fucking fiery hell, whatever, forever, and you're burning. You know what happens after like an hour of that? You're like, well, I've been hurting for an hour. I guess it's normal. And then you get used to it, and then it's not even hell anymore.
Yeah, plus, I've never understood the point, like, how is Satan evil if he's punishing you for being evil?
Yeah.
When you go down there.
You should be happy. It's probably like the paradise that you're missing. Like, you have a good time.
Yeah.
Some bad shit happens. That sounds more like the normal stuff.
Yeah, like, see, I'm a serial killer. I die, I go to hell. And they're like, we're gonna let's go do all this bad stuff. And I'm like, all right, let's go. Like, I don't understand it.
That's the fun part of people's lives, the adventure.
Mm-hmm. Things are fun because there's thrill in it. Like,
thrill and danger.
You're on a roller coaster, and you're going up and down, and you know you're probably going to live, but your body's not used to it, and you're like, oh, there's a chance this could go off the track, and we could die, but you don't. So at the end, you're like, oh, that was scary. That was thrilling. That's the point.
You're jumping out of an airplane. You got a parachute on your back. What are the odds? You might not work.
So you go to heaven, and they're like, let's play this game where you always win.
Yeah.
You're going to win no matter what. Like,
this is the win game.
yeah.
What do we do? Okay, just flip a card. Oh, ace. King.
Oh, that's crazy. You won, and I won too.
We both won. Wow, this game's so fucking fun. I want to keep. Oh, I won. But
there's no win.
In 2 seconds, it would be the most boring game you ever
You can't have fun winning unless there's losers. And if nobody loses, then it's not fun.
It's like going like the Happy Gilmore movie when Grandma's in the happy place and she's hitting the slot machine.
Yeah.
She always wins. She's like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like at some point the slot machine would be so boring.
Yeah, and what would be the point of winning all that money if you can get whatever you want anyway?
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're in heaven, then you get whatever you want.
Yeah.
So why would money even matter anymore?
It's paradise. You get what you want. That would be the idea for universal basic income, where everybody gets money to live on and they're happy, and you don't have to work for a living.
If I went to heaven, if heaven existed and I went to heaven, I would, like within hours, just end up laying somewhere and just staring. And I would just stare there and be like, I don't know what to do. Like, I couldn't make... The only way I could go to heaven and be happy is if I knew someone there was not happy.
That's why, the afterlife would be more fun if you just stayed around and did crazy shit. But we talked about that before. You wouldn't come back to the earth and be like, oh, I'm wearing the clothes I died in.
Yeah, that don't make sense.
No one would recognize you because you'd look however the fuck you wanted to look.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be a fucking just an energy portal flying around. You wouldn't be some guy. My beard wouldn't be all luscious and beautiful. It'd be fucking terrible. You'd be like, whatever the fuck you want.
You're just energy. You can do whatever.
All this shit's just stupid. But I'm going to give a shout out to Davies County again and a man who drinks a lot in the public eye named Bruce Kirshner.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Kirshner.
Kirshner.
Oh, you got to say Brett Krishna.
Brett Kirshner.
Yeah. Brett Krishna and Bruce Kirshner.
I think that, and I'm not saying I believe this, but when I try to, I don't really have a belief in any way, but when I try to wrap my mind around existence and everything, I like to imagine existence and the universe and everything as one organism. And I believe, I don't believe, but I imagine that like everything within the universe is a cell of that one organism, and we're just a component.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is a thing that came out too. It didn't come out recently. I think it was like in the 80s or something, or maybe the 70s even. But they did experiments on mice, and they would take the mice and they'd run them through a maze, and the mice would learn this maze over time or whatever. But they found that after these mice learned how to use the maze, they could take mice from across the country and put the same maze in, and the new mice would be able to go through the maze faster. Like it's somewhat of a hive mind, like the idea of cavemen using tools and then other cavemen figuring out tools, like to a point. And I've said this before all my life, it's like I don't think there's a such thing as an original thought. As soon as you put energy into the world, it attaches somewhere all over.
Yeah.
And that's, the idea.
Well, that makes total sense, because that's just like how in China there's like almost exact same things that people use there than we use here, that when there was no way at the time they could have networked that connection. They just both figured it out. Like there's candles in China and candles in America. They both figured out candles but on their own.
In the 1500s, they couldn't just send a fucking email and go, hey, here's a candle.
Yeah. Or arrows. There were arrows everywhere.
Yeah, everybody had arrows. Everybody had swords.
Yeah.
It's just people figured it out.
And
they might be different.
Yeah.
They might design them different, but the same thought goes in the head. Like, wow, this.
Well, that's just like the same thing with like when animals evolve. It's just crazy because like, okay, so you got like this chipmunk that kept getting to this one spot it couldn't get to, and then it died. Then the next one comes from the next generation, and it gets there, and it's a little bit changed. How did it know that it had to change to do that, because some information got passed on from one to the other in some way.
Yeah.
And like this is the only way like evolution could happen, in my opinion, is somehow wirelessly throughout the atmosphere there's information.
It makes sense because you can't. I mean, back in the day, you used to have to like call an operator and use the phone and be like, I need to connect to blah blah blah,
Yeah,
and shit like that, and they'd connect you or whatever. But nowadays, obviously, you can get anything you want on a fucking phone.
Yeah.
You're like, boop, 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 and you just send the information and it disappears in the air, goes into some metal thing and then disperses into another thing, and that's the same way energy works everywhere.
yeah.
So why would that not make sense? Just
We're all wirelessly connected.
yeah, we're connected. We just don't know how to use it, and that's going to be one of the next evolutions. The Elon Musk thing, the Neuralink. And we've got the computers. We've made computers, and we've made cell phones and all that. So all this stuff's going to link up.
And guess what, everybody?
Terminator.
Eventually, there's going to be no, not Terminator. There's going to be sex robots.
Oh yeah,
and then when they have sex robots, that'll be the end of humanity.
Yeah,
it won't be Terminator.
Men won't have to get women anymore.
Yeah, everybody got it wrong. They were on the right path, like with like robot people destroying the Earth, but it's not going to be any way similar to how they believe. It's not going to be Skynet robots killing everybody. It's just going to be
guys like disappearing from women altogether,
never leaving their house, just having sex with robots.
Yeah,
you're going to have
be
like
whole communities.
There's going to
be like machine guns all around it, and it's just going to be guys sitting there getting blowjobs from robots all day.
There's going to be like hot women.
It's
like
the same thing as the guy trying to suck his own dick.
Yeah. There's going to be hot women like Megan Fox banging on like Jonah Hill's house. Like, fuck me, please. The whole humanity, the future of humanity, depends on it.
Jonah Hill's going to have a little tunnel. He's going to go out the back and come up from underneath with a shotgun.
Yeah, and then he'll scan her body and then put it in a machine and it'll make a robot version of Megan Fox. And he'll be like, yeah.
He'll be like, I'll fuck you now. You do what I want.
Yep.
But then that's when the Terminators came.
Then I saw a Futurama episode where this happened, where they basically did the same thing, and like Fry ended up having a Lucy Liu robot.
Oh yeah.
Which I hate Lucy Liu. I don't even think she's attractive.
I like Lucy Liu.
I don't know. But anyway, besides the point, it showed like a glimpse of the future, and it showed like this old man like still having sex with. It shows him as a little kid, and then he's an old man and he's still doing the same thing with the same robot, and he's like, "I love you," and then he dies, and I'm like, "That's what's gonna happen. Eventually, there's just gonna be men with robots." No women. There'll probably be like an elite of women, like of resistance.
Oh yeah.
And they'll have an underground area where they'll kidnap men and breed with them.
Yeah.
And
then they'll select for the women, so they'll get rid of the male babies and try to keep the women babies. And they're like, we can do this without them.
Yeah. And then
they'll have guys like in these things with their legs and arms spread out, and then they'll just milk them for cum. And they'll be like, well, not drinking it, but
and,
putting in the machine, injecting on the women.
Yeah,
on assembly lines, like
artificially inseminate themselves. Yep. And it'll just be like men against women.
Yeah.
Men with their
men will lose it because there'll be like 500 of us.
Yeah.
But we'll have all the artillery. So we'll have grenades and shit thrown at them, but the women there'd be like 8,000 of them
with bows and arrows and stuff.
You will give us your seed. We only want your seed.
No, they won't even have. They'll have like atlatls.
Yeah.
And we got fucking nuclear bombs.
Yeah. Yep. That's what's gonna happen. That's the future.
I'm sure there's got to be like women nuclear physicists, but I don't know any off the top of my head.
It's already begun. They have the Oculus and the fleshlight.
Yeah.
You just take the Oculus and you put it on a porn.
And the fleshlight, and that pretends like you're getting a blowjob.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's already begun. Then they're going to send someone from the future back in time to kill that person who thought of that.
The easy thing about guys is that guys are visual. So all you need is the visuals to get you off.
Mm-hmm.
It's just got to feel decent.
That's a cool idea for a movie. Do a new Terminator movie, but it's just going to be about Terminator. Somebody coming back to kill the person who thought of having the Oculus and the fleshlight, and they're like, "I'm here to kill.
I'm here to murder. Get rid of fleshlights."
Phil Johnson. Like, what did Phil Johnson ever do? He's the first man to have incorporated the Oculus with the fleshlight.
That's like they think they get it, but another guy comes up with a different version, which is like the rubber face doll or something. And so they have to do the second movie, and then by the third movie you find out that, like, what's his name in the movie, Justin Furlong's character?
John Connor?
John Connor, yeah. John Connor, in like the third movie, he figures out what the fleshlight actually is, and he gets to try it out, and he's like, oh, and then he's like, has to fight the Terminator. And he kills the Terminator. He's like, you're not getting this. That's how it all starts back again. And that's when he turns into the Terminator Genesis version, where he like has the skeleton and shit that comes out, and he's like two of himself.
Yeah, and then
Terminator not getting this.
And then John Connor's like, take this to somebody. They're like, what is it? He's like, it's the plans to make a field pussy. He's like, what's a field pussy? Just look at the directions and you'll understand. And he's like,
it's a bread bag.
I don't understand. It's a bread bag and a rolled up towel, a rubber band, and some Vaseline.
It's like, take it. You'll understand. And then the end's just like the guy's it doesn't even show him. It's like outside of his house in the dark, and there's like one light on, and you see a shadow, and the guy's like, oh, I don't know what the... Oh, my God, I got it! And then the Terminator goes on. That's the real Terminator.
Yeah.
I'll tell you for sure.
Yep.
Well, we know. That's why we should make these movies. I still actually, I like Star Wars and stuff, but they've cheesed it up so much.
Well, I heard a rumor that they're gonna try to pretty much omit the last 3 they did and make a new 3. I heard that. That's a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not, but
yeah, but it don't matter. It's owned by Disney.
See, I really I didn't like any of them 3 movies, but I liked Rogue One a lot, and
Rogue One was good.
And I liked Mandalorian. I think that's good.
Mandalorian.
But the last 3 Star Wars movies they made, that go on, I don't think those are good.
Snoke's was a good idea, but then they changed directors, and then he ruined Snoke's.
Yeah, and then they made him a bunch of clones.
Yeah.
With the Emperor, he was clones too. We'll just make everyone clones.
Yeah.
That the answer is clones. Everything's
That's all it is.
I think what happened was he got thrown into it, and then he was just bored, or not bored, but overwhelmed maybe. And he's trying to think of everything, and everybody's like, no, and all the nerds are like, because this happened, and you can't do that because that happens, and he just gets overwhelmed, and he's just like, you know what? Fuck it, clones. That's why.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones.
Clones.
Remember that?
And they're like, well, you can't do that. And he's like, well, I'm doing it, okay? Because none of you would agree with any of my ideas. And they're like, no. And he's like, yes. And then he does it.
And then they just ruined it from the beginning because they got all that stupid shit. I thought it was supposed to be Snoke's that was connecting him and her together.
Mm-hmm.
That was to get them together so that he could create a superpower of the Anti-Force or whatever. The dark side, and that should have been the theme of it, but instead he made it to where it just creates all these powers. All of a sudden these people have all these powers that no other Jedi in the history of Jedi world ever had.
Yeah,
and shit, and it's just stupid. You don't change the story.
Mm-hmm.
The story's got to be the same.
Then they let Han Solo be a ghost, a Force ghost. He didn't even have the Force.
Yeah.
In the old ones, in the Clone Wars, Yoda's like, you would like to meet
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon Jinn. He learned this thing to be the Force Ghost. Like, obviously it takes a very highly trained Jedi to be able to become a Force Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Then Han Solo is just a Force Ghost.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
They just change all these rules all the time. Same thing with, like, the beginning stories when, Darth Vader was created by midichlorians.
Yeah, that was dumb.
That wasn't even something that was in the first movies. Like, they made those up.
If I ever see a midichlorian, I'm going to stomp on it.
Fuck your midichlorian.
Get out of here!
Get out of there. Yeah, it's just...
How does that even make sense? Because he's like, they live in us, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, test his midichlorian.
So like, say I'm a Jedi and I'm using my Force. Do the midichlorians come out of my fingers and go grab it for me and bring it to me? Like, oh, let's get it. And they're so little you can't see them, and they're like, okay, let's fly out of them and grab it and bring it to them. Like, how does that? They never explained like how the midichlorians control the Force in your body. Like, you're telling your mind's telling the midichlorians to do that, and are they using some kind of Force also? Like, where's their Force coming from?
My idea, my idea of the Force from the original movies is that it's almost like a fate thing, like, good versus evil, so good usually wins with the power of the Force. It's like kind of like a religious type thing, and you get the evil Force and the good Force. And because the evil Force is more powerful, they have less people that receive the power. And then you have to train them on the power. Like, anybody can be trained on it, but some people are just linked into it a little bit earlier in life. Mm-hmm. And they can become powerful. But because the dark side's so powerful, it's more tempting. Because you can learn more things and you have more abilities. Mm-hmm. That should have been the theme, not stupid midichlorians, or you could just go up to any person. They could have lined up every person in the world and go, yeah, midichlorians, oh no, you're suck, get out of here. Yeah. You suck, get out of here. Oh, come on in, buddy.
Oh,
we'll train you.
All right, Cha. First thing I would have learned if I was a Jedi, first thing I would have learned is the Force stroke. People wouldn't know. I'd be sitting here talking to whoever, and I'd be like, my face would be getting red. I'd be like,
it'd be at the Jedi Council, and Qui-Gon Jinn's like,
doing it you are again.
I would like to train this young Padawan, and all of a sudden something would squirt in his face. It's like, who was that?
Doing it again, you are.
Feel good it did.
Doing it again, you are. Force stroking, you are. 50 times I've told you not to do.
Only power he has used.
Then the second power I would have is Force fiddle. Women would be talking to me. I'd be like, They'd be like, oh. And they wouldn't want to tell me what's going on because they wouldn't know how to explain it. So then I have to go. And I'd be like, The Force fiddle.
I'd be like, your man does not please you.
Please you? Your man does not.
Your man does not please you. And she's like, he's right, she don't.
Inadequate your
I will.
Inadequate your man is. Inadequate your man is. Yes.
I don't have to use a condom.
Tiny as Peter is.
Never get pregnant with me, you won't. Oh, shit. All right. I think, we're almost at 2 hours. Should probably come close to ending it here.
Disappointed you will not be.
Yeah. You'll enjoy this episode, will you do? Yes.
Enjoy this episode, you must. Tell your friends you will. Subscribe.
Yeah, like, subscribe. Remember to comment, even though the comments on YouTube aren't working very well, so you gotta message me at it should be
Toby Wan.
mind4ucd at gmail.com. Yeah. mind4ucd at gmail.com. It's the personal freaking Nanner Gmail right now until I get all the website and all that stuff.
Yes.
And one day I'll do that. I work a lot.
Email you must.
But I got 2 fucking kids here that Don't do anything. So.
Insult us, you will.
Mm-hmm. Children. One day we'll bring him in here, and as soon as you look at him, you'll be like,
Chiclet teeth I have.
I do not.
Gary Busey teeth my face does have.
Gary Busey's teeth get bigger over time. They just keep getting bigger.
Bitten by Jake Busey I was. Bitten by Jake Busey I was. Radioactive he was. Yes.
But yeah, I heard that. It doesn't have anything to do with them, but Pauly Shore's next door neighbor is Nicolas Cage in Las Vegas. Pauly Shore.
Pauly Shore. Well, I have to go pee.
It's pee time. Good luck, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Blah, 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 blah.